Only a fool learns from his own mistakes. The wise man learns from the mistakes of others. It is better to be hated for what you are than to be loved for what you are not. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge. Fools despise wisdom and instruction. Never interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. The simple things are also the most extraordinary things, and only the wise can see them. Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Wise kings generally have wise counselors, and he must be a wise man himself who is capable of distinguishing one. Yesterday, I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today, I am wise, so I am changing myself. A man must be big enough to admit his mistakes, smart enough to profit from them, and strong enough to correct them. No man was ever wise by chance. It is the neglect of timely repair that makes rebuilding necessary. All this worldly wisdom was once the unamiable heresy of some wise man. Wisdom, compassion, and courage are the three universally recognized moral qualities of men. If suffering brings wisdom, I would wish to be less wise. We must accept finite disappointment, but never lose infinite hope. Most of the important things in the world have been accomplished by people who have kept on trying when there seemed to be no hope at all. Some succeed because they are destined to, but most succeed because they are determined to. You have been criticizing yourself for years and it hasn't worked. Try approving of yourself and see what happens. What counts is not necessarily the size of the dog in the fight, it's the size of the fight in the dog. The road that is built in hope is more pleasant to the traveler than the road built in despair, even though they both lead to the same destination. Tragedy is a tool for the living to gain wisdom, not a guide by which to live. When you stop hoping, you are on the vestibule of hell, for there is no hope there. Some wisdom you must learn from one who's wise. To profit from good advice requires more wisdom than to give it. He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things which he has not, but rejoices for those which he has. The past is a source of knowledge, and the future is a source of hope. Love of the past implies faith in the future. You will not be punished for your anger. You will be punished by your anger. It's not the load that weighs you down, it's how you carry it. Optimism is the faith that leads to achievement. Nothing can be done without hope and confidence. There's no job too immense when you got confidence. Hope lies in dreams, in imagination, and in the courage of those who dare to make dreams into reality. Silence is true wisdom's best reply. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. They whom truth and wisdom lead can gather honey from a weed. Hope is the foundation of patience. Is there anyone so wise as to learn by the experience of others? It is the mark of an educated mind to be able to entertain a thought without accepting it. To win without risk is to triumph without glory. When obstacles arise, you change your direction to reach your goal. You do not change your decision to get there. Have confidence that if you have done a little thing well, you can do a bigger thing well too. A closed mouth catches no flies. We have always held to the hope, the belief, the conviction that there is a better life, a better world, beyond the horizon. A wise man proportions his belief to the evidence. When hope animates us, there is a vigor in the whole body. It is characteristic of genius to be hopeful and aspiring. Success is no accident. It is hard work, perseverance, learning, studying, sacrifice, and most of all, love of what you are doing or learning to do. A man full of hope will be full of action. The very least you can do in your life is figure out what you hope for, and the most you can do is live inside that. Hope not admire it from a distance, but live right in it, under its roof. The less you talk, the more you'll listen to. It is astonishing with how little wisdom mankind can be governed when that little wisdom is its own. The superior man blames himself. The inferior man blames others. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when first we practice to deceive. Ignorant men raise questions that wise men answered 1,000 years ago. Few of the many wise apothegms which have been uttered have prevented a single foolish action. It doesn't matter how many times you fail, you only have to be right once, and then everyone can tell you that you are an overnight success. No one wants advice, only corroboration. The difference between ordinary and extraordinary is that little extra. We never understand how little we need in this world until we know the loss of it. There will be obstacles, there will be doubters, there will be mistakes, but with hard work, there are no limits. The hustle brings the dollar, the experience brings the knowledge, the persistence brings success. We are wiser than we know. A fool thinks himself to be wise, but a wise man knows himself to be a fool. It is not wisdom, but authority that makes a law. Who is wise in love? Love most, say least. It's not about money or connections, it's the willingness to outwork and outlearn everyone when it comes to your business. The virtue of justice consists in moderation, as regulated by wisdom. The wise man does at once what the fool does finally. I'm always doing things I can't do. That's how I get to do them. Believing that the dots will connect down the road will give you the confidence to follow your heart. The wisdom of the wise is an uncommon degree of common sense. A wise man may look ridiculous in the company of fools. We are masters of the unsaid words, but slaves of those we let slip out. There is a difference between happiness and wisdom. He that thinks himself the happiest man is really so, but he that thinks himself the wisest is generally the greatest fool. If we all did the things we are capable of doing, we would literally astound ourselves. He dares to be a fool, and that is the first step in the direction of wisdom. It is impossible to love and to be wise. When you have lost hope, you have lost everything. And when you think all is lost, when all is dire and bleak, there is always hope. We gain the strength of the temptation we resist. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. It takes determination to see a dream come to pass. The question is not will you start, but will you finish? Wise men make more opportunities than they find. A wise man makes his own decisions. An ignorant man follows the public opinion. Put your heart, mind, intellect, and soul even to your smallest acts. This is the secret of success. In every walk with nature, one receives far more than he seeks. No one can make you feel inferior without your consent. A day of worry is more exhausting than a week of work. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. We are made wise not by the recollection of our past, but by the responsibility for our future. A smart man only believes half of what he hears. A wise man knows which half. Before I can live with other folks, I've got to live with myself. The one thing that doesn't abide by majority rule is a person's conscience. Experience is the only prophecy of wise men. The misfortune of the wise is better than the prosperity of the fool. By the mouth of a fool comes a rod for his back, but the lips of the wise will preserve them. Enthusiasm is common, endurance is rare. Hope is grief's best music. It is the nature of the wise to resist pleasures, but the foolish to be a slave to them. Wise sayings often fall on barren ground, but a kind word is never thrown away. A wise man can learn more from a foolish question than a fool can learn from a wise answer. To all the living there is hope, for a living dog is better than a dead lion. Hope means expectancy when things are otherwise hopeless. Only in the darkness can you see the stars. A fool flatters himself, a wise man flatters the fool. Everything is within your power, and your power is within you. There is only a finger's difference between a wise man and a fool. Do not say a little in many words, but a great deal in few. A man begins cutting his wisdom teeth the first time he bites off more than he can chew. The next best thing to being wise oneself is to live in a circle of those who are. The struggle you're in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow. Don't give up. I would rather risk wearing out than rusting out. The wisdom of the wise and the experience of ages may be preserved by quotation. The way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. When you betray somebody else, you also betray yourself. A poem begins in delight and ends in wisdom. The young man knows the rules, but the old man knows the exceptions. When you live for a strong purpose, then hard work isn't an option, it's a necessity. In youth and beauty, wisdom is but rare. Hope is faith in the future tense. It's easier to resist at the beginning than at the end. However bad life may seem, there is always something you can do and succeed at. Where there's life, there's hope. It is best for the wise man not to seem wise. A wise man is superior to any insults which can be put upon him, and the best reply to unseemly behavior is patience and moderation. Think like a wise man, but communicate in the language of the people. Travel makes a wise man better and a fool worse. If a man have sex with 2 women, he will always choose based on his individual preferences, desires, and the nature of his relationships with each woman. When you have a lot of confidence and you feel like nobody can beat you, it's game over for everyone else. The fool wonders, the wise man asks. Man's wisdom is his best friend, folly his worst enemy. Learn from yesterday, live for today, hope for tomorrow. The important thing is not to stop questioning. Nobody can give you wiser advice than yourself. Wise men speak because they have something to say, fools because they have to say something. A loving heart is the truest wisdom. Be happy, it's one way of being wise. Many have been the wise speeches of fools, though not so many as the foolish speeches of wise men. Almost every wise saying has an opposite one, no less wise, to balance it. Better be wise by the misfortunes of others than by your own. Love is the wisdom of the fool and the folly of the wise. The man who asks a question is a fool for a minute. The man who does not ask is a fool for life. The art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook